So being more natural or having a more natural lifestyle or being more in harmony with nature, very popular ideas and ideals and things which people strive for in the alternative or natural or spiritual or new agey or hippie communities. But what we're going to look at in this video is how that's not really getting to the source of the problem, how these things are really illusions in the bigger picture, and how we can actually get to the source of the problem to actually be more natural or actually be more in harmony with nature. Which is sort of a funny thing because we already are in harmony with nature. Everything already is natural, but we just don't see that. We just don't act out of that space for the reasons in which we're going to talk about in this video. Most people think, oh, I'm going to be more natural, I'm going to buy organic clothes, I'm going to be a vegetarian, I'm going to buy organic food, I'm going to drive a Prius, I'm going to recycle, these are better, I'm natural, I'm good for the planet, I'm good for the environment. Which is kind of ironic to say that a car is good for the environment. Because it's a car, so it's inherently destructive to the environment any way you really look at it. Which is sort of ironic, but a lot of people invest a lot of time and energy, which is how a lot of this being more natural is usually just sort of like our whole self-identity kind of ego boosting thing in a way to be braggadocious, which I'm not putting that down. I'm not really getting into that because that's this topic for another video. So getting back to the point, let's look at these characters and symbols arranged in various ways behind me. Yes, I realize you can't see all of it, but the good news is I'm going to say everything and more, and all of this isn't really for you, it's more for me so I can stay on track and not get lost on tangents. And it's just a way to use the whiteboard. So first, what is the real problem? Number one, the problem is not necessarily doing this or that. While those activities are helpful, yes. The problem is, number one, the human-centered view of the reality of the cosmos, which is the foundation from which we take all of our other actions and build all of our other assumptions. Which is why things don't always really work out when we try to do good. Because we're trying to do good, but we're trying to do good out of a place that's imbalanced and messed up in the first place, so really results don't work. So this human-centered view of the cosmos is exactly like it says. It views nature as this sort of stupid mechanical system that's really devoid of, real intelligence or real consciousness. This is a really ubiquitous, common, hard-line belief in most ideas and most philosophies. Secondary to that is humans are at the top. We're at the top of the food chain. We've got the biggest brain. We're the most evolved. We're the smartest. We have the best language. We invented this. We invented that. We're at the top of the evolutionary chain. We're in charge of nature. It's up to us to fix nature. It's up to us to save the planet. It's up to us to control nature. When in reality, we're in the situation we're in because of our own missteps. Not because nature is stupid, but because we took maybe some incorrect methodologies, some incorrect philosophies and paradigms out of this original silly assumption that we are the best, we're the most intelligent, we're the center of the cosmos. And this creates a lot of different things, which we'll look at now. First is it causes us to demonize our animal nature, which then brings in all of the guilt, the fear, and the shame, and then the sense of control that we need to feel. Oh, we got to keep ourselves controlled. If we relax too much, if we have too much fun, if we feel too good, who's really in control? Who's running the show? Who's going to be watching me, or who's going to make sure I don't do something wrong? So that's where a lot of this stuff comes in, which causes us to really divide ourselves into high and low, good and bad, evolved, unevolved, conscious, unconscious, spiritual, physical, mental, emotional. It causes us to compartmentalize and divide everything up. From there, we, as a result, worship thinking over feeling, which again causes us to view things as devoid of consciousness, devoid of intelligence, devoid of feeling, and really causes us to usually do the same thing. We tune out all of that stuff and we just only think. So this gets us to step 2, which is being addicted and hypnotized by thought. So literally, we walk around in trances all the time. And most people think, oh, hypnosis isn't real, none of that stuff works. But it does work because people use it all day, every day. Advertising, marketing, TV, using it all the time, and they have for a really, really long time. It's basically an indisputable fact. But we do this to ourselves because we're always just walking around hypnotized by our mental chatter and mental conversation. So this causes us, again, to ignore feeling and then basically put spells and poison arrows and sort of distorting views and beliefs on nature. That causes us to really distort its functioning. So what do I mean by that? How can we understand that? Well, we can look at our own body. We have all these unconscious physical processes which keep us alive. Digesting our food, beating our heart, breathing, sexual functions, all these different things, usually unconscious, and usually work pretty well. But what happens when our mind starts to get in the way is we distort the functioning. Meaning there's people who worry about going to the bathroom. They're like, oh my God, am I going to be able to go to the bathroom? Is this, people worry about, is my body going to be able to digest this? And people get on all these weird food trips because they think, my body can't digest that. My body can't do this. And they worry about all this stuff. They create all this tension and anxiety. And what do you know? The body responds. It says, oh yeah, we can't digest that. We can't do that. Distorts the functioning. So much in the same way as this process is true in our body, it's true outside of our body because it's the same process, basically. Which then illustrates our point and gets us back to the whole thing of, having a more natural lifestyle, being more in tune with nature. It's really less to do with all of these little surface things that society and culture give us, because not those things are bad or are wrong, but we need to take a step back and realize that unless we actually get to the source, the root of the problem, we're not really going to be able to make that profound of changes. So a lot of people are probably going to think this video is just about bashing green things or bashing being natural or organic, which is not at all anything to do with this conversation. Those things are cool, and again, it's not the point of the video. So if you're sitting there thinking, oh, this guy's an idiot, recycling is going to save the world, Priuses are cool, I'm a vegan, blah, 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 that's fine. It's not what this is about. It's about this particular belief, this particular mindset and philosophy. And I slam my hand on the board because so many people miss the point and think I'm talking about this good or bad, right or wrong battle, which is not this conversation. So please set that aside. Tangent over. Again, the point is realizing that if we have these incorrect assumptions, it's going to cause distortions in the way we see things, and then it's going to cause us to get in the way of natural processes, cause us to get in the way of natural functioning, which that can be outside in nature, it could be inside our own body. Same principles apply. If you have any questions or comments, post them below, and I'll talk to you soon.